Hey yo, welcome to the channel. Today I'm about to react to Geekdom, the Final Flash technique guide explained. So far I've only seen the Gallic gun one because I was just intrigued. I didn't know like all these facts about like there's so much like detail and information behind every single move that he does. But like I just saw this pop up in my recommended and I decided okay, I'ma watch this. But I only saw the Gallic gun one. Then after that, yeah, I think after that he just dropped the Final Flash. But yeah, of all the favorite moves, I'd say my favorite is of course Final Flash because come on, bro. But second is Big Bang Attack and Galagun. I could take it or leave it, but it is what it is. So yeah, with that said, let's hop into it.
If you've been following the recent editions of the Technique
Oh shit, he
Guide, you know we're talking about Vegeta.
okay.
Previously in the Technique Guide, I covered Vegeta's first two big techniques from the series.
Oh okay, so he did okay, so he did do the Big Bang Attack. I think I might check that out after this, but you know.
That would be the Gallic Gun and the Big Bang Attack. But on today's edition, we're going to discuss probably Vegeta's most famous move,
Final
featured in
Flash.
one of the most infamous scenes in all of Dragon Ball Z. I'm talking about the Final Flash. And let me tell you, there are some pretty interesting tidbits about this technique that you may not have known that we're going to discuss today
Okay.
on this edition
Uh,
of the Technique
okay,
Guide.
technique
So you
guy. Let's
might as well
go.
hit the like button right now. In fact, do it right now as we begin.
Okay, okay, don't worry. I'ma like it after this, depending on if if I learn a thing or two. Of course I will, but like if I whatever, man. Okay, that's fire.
It's interesting when you look at the Final Flash in comparison to the Big Bang Attack and the Gallic Gun. All three moves are based in pure energy annihilation, but they also vary when it comes to speed and power. For example, the Big Bang Attack is more of a quick type of technique. Vegeta can muster up energy very fast, fire the
Yeah.
ball, have it explode, and inflict major damage. The Gallic Gun, on the other hand, takes a bit more time to charge, but arguably has a bit more power behind it.
But Final
But when it
Flash.
comes to the Final Flash, this one takes a much longer amount of time to charge because of the power that Vegeta puts behind it. This move is meant to annihilate even the strongest foes, even those who may appear to be stronger than Vegeta. That's right, the Final Flash can inflict damage on opponents that are stronger than the ones who use the technique.
Okay.
How is this possible? It has to do with the fact that, much like other energy gathering techniques, like, for example, the Genki Dama and
Uh
Four
huh.
Spirit Fission,
Okay.
the amount of time it takes to charge is a.
Okay. Okay. To those, I do know what that is. Genkidama is the spirit bomb in it, and what?
Much like other energy gathering techniques, like, for example, the Genki Dama and Four Spirit Fission,
For spirit vision. I'm unfamiliar with that one, but I'm assuming it's something they learned at Yard Rat, but I don't know.
the amount of time it takes to charge is a huge difference and the key factor here. Vegeta takes as much energy as he could possibly muster up from within his own body.
I mean, that's
Unlike
why
the
it's called a
Genki
Final
Dama and
Flash, to
Four
be
Spirit,
fair.
which use energy from other sources, this energy is purely all Vegeta's, but he musters up every single particle of ki in his body in order to form this technique properly. Which is why after Vegeta does the move, he is left not necessarily powerless, but he's definitely
Exhausted.
a lot weaker than he was prior
Yeah.
to it because of how much of a strain it has on his body. We've talked about this in the past on previous videos, but if you understand how energy works in Dragon Ball, when a fighter is in combat, he uses ki not just to fire ki blasts, but also to put power behind his blows and for defensive purposes
Oh,
too. If
okay.
someone fires a
Okay.
ki blast at you, for example, if you raise your energy to create a barrier or even to protect your body, you will lessen the damage or maybe even block it all out. With the
Okay,
final
okay, yeah,
flash,
that low-key explained it. I mean, it was obvious when they be like, don't worry, I've increased my power level up at the last second to save me from the blow or some shit or from the attack, you know? Okay, that makes sense.
Technique, Vegeta uses everything but his own life energy to put so much into it to make sure that it will inflict the most amount of damage possible. Of course, when you think about the Final Flash, everyone thinks about the
So,
infamous scene in Dragon Ball Z
yeah,
where
we he
Vegeta, at this
him
point,
up, bro.
Super Vegeta, aka Vegeta in what's referred to as Super Saiyan Grade 2,
Two, yeah.
firing it on Perfect Cell and destroying pretty much half of Cell's body.
Bro.
Of course, Cell did regenerate, so he didn't die. But one could make the argument that if Cell did not have Piccolo cells,
he would have died. He was not coming back from that.
been history.
Yeah.
And that argument has gone on for many years because of how much power Vegeta puts into this thing. If you've been a subscriber at Geekdom 101 for any length of time,
I think yeah, he even attempted to dodge or some shit like that. I was it that one with Gohan? I forgot which it was.
that I prefer watching Dragon Ball in its original Japanese version because the English dub is loaded with really bad script changes that quite frankly ruin the show for me. However,
Oh shit. Okay, I can't really watch that. I think Dragon Ball is like the only anime I watch in dub because the dub is just for me personally it feels like okay, I grew up with the dub so I kind of like adapted to it, but any other anime now but watching it in sub it's just, you know, I'm not going to disrespect it. It's just like, you know, it's not as emotionally for me. For me, that's just my opinion. Don't feel attacked or offended by that. It's just Goku's voice. I'll just say it. It's just Goku's voice. It just doesn't, you know, it just don't hit for me to say.
for watching Dragon Ball in its original Japanese version because the English dub is loaded with really bad script changes that quite frankly ruin the show for me. However, it doesn't matter what version of Dragon Ball you're watching, whether it be Kai, Z, dub, or sub, the Final Flash scene
Whoa.
is one of the most epic Vegeta moments in Dragon Ball Z. Let's take a look at it right now.
Okay.
What an epic Vegeta scream. Let's look at what he does here though. Vegeta opens up his arms very wide, vertically, fingers also wide, gathering up as much energy as possible before putting his arms together and discharging a humongous golden beam of energy meant to annihilate whoever it touches. But the fight against Perfect Cell would not be the last time that Vegeta used this move.
He used it in the Oh shit, wait, did he use it in he used it in the Boo arc, the Boo Suck? I thought he used it like against Black or some shit like that.
We saw him use it again during the anime version of the fight between Goku and Majin Vegeta. We saw it again briefly in the fight with Kid Buu. And then in Dragon Ball Super, Vegeta used it during his battle with Vegeta in the Universe 6, Universe 7 tournament,
Black,
as well as we actually saw future Trunks use the move in the Goku Black arc. And then in the Tournament of Power, we saw Vegeta do it again.
I'm thinking of Tournament of Power, God.
Dragon Ball GT, there's a bit of an error, and I talked about this a little bit in the Big Bang Attack video, but basically when Baby Vegeta is preparing a Final Flash, he yells Big Bang Attack. And this is in the Japanese version, this is not a dub change. But this was actually the Final Flash. And because of that, for some reason in other video games, like Dragon Ball Heroes even, he does the Final Flash, but it's called the Big Bang Attack. So it's got to be a rib. It's got to be like a joke. But what is the origin of this technique? Well, here's a bit of a tidbit for you. So Dragon Ball Guidebook Daizenshu 2 states that Vegeta developed this technique while training in the Room of Spirit and Time with Trunks. And that would make sense because we didn't see Vegeta use the move until he left the Room of Spirit and Time. But is that actually the first time he used it? Maybe not. If you go back earlier into Dragon Ball Z, specifically when they were on Planet Namek and Vegeta was fighting Raccoon in a knockdown, drag-out fight to the death, Vegeta does a technique with Vegeta's hand position and the way he charges up energy that looks
I remember seeing this.
Like the Final Flash. Now, is this the Final Flash? Well, the color of the energy is different, and it's not exactly performed the same, but the hand positioning and the way that Vegeta uses
very
energy,
similar.
and of course the charge up time is remarkably similar.
Yeah.
Therefore, one could make the argument that Vegeta was already developing the Final Flash even back then, but didn't have time to master the move until the Room of Spirit and Time. I mean, when you're in a time chamber for a year, you would think that that would be more than enough time for Vegeta to master this technique, and he does master it. In fact, he comes really close to killing Cell had it not been for Cell's regeneration. However, because of how powerful Cell was at the time, had he prepared himself properly by putting up a barrier, he would have probably survived it, but that's up for debate and a debate for another day.
Okay.
And a side note about that whole Vegeta Raccoon thing, some have listed this technique as being called the Final Crash, a precursor to Final Flash. I don't recall that being stated in any official source.
Hell no.
So please take that with a grain of salt. So to me, if you were to take these three moves and organize them by speed and power, the more powerful they are, the more time they take to charge. So it would go Big Bang at the
attack,
beginning, Gallic Gun in the middle,
and
Final Flash at the end. However, that's debatable because of the Big Bang's blast radius. They're similar moves, but they're different. Either way, the Final Flash is Vegeta's signature technique and probably his most famous move.
That's debatable. It's between Big Bang. Yeah, it's just very debatable.
Now wait, timeout. There is an upgraded version of the Final Flash that we really don't know too much about yet, but it's called the Gamma Burst Flash that Vegeta has used so far only in the Dragon Ball Super manga. Some have referred to this technique as the double Gallic gun because the way that Vegeta's hands are positioned, it almost feels like a combination of a Gallic gun and a Final Flash, but the Gamma Burst Flash, to keep it really, really simple, is just a much more powerful version of Final Flash that Vegeta developed in case of an emergency so that he wouldn't have to use the final explosion. We saw the Gamma Burst Flash in the manga of Dragon Ball Super, both in the battle with Zamasu in the Trunks arc, as well as attempting to...
But they didn't put it in the anime. It better be in the Moro arc, bro. It better be there.
Jiren in the Tournament of Power alongside Goku. This thing has an incredible level of power, but unfortunately, like the Final Flash, it leaves the user very exhausted because of how much energy he puts into it. But at the very least, the charge time is a lot shorter. At least we perceive it that way based on the manga. You have to remember that we have not seen this technique in the anime yet, and I'm not sure if we ever will because the Gamma Burst Flash is really the same as Final Flash, except that it's a much more advanced technique that Vegeta had to develop later in life because he was becoming a better fighter. Now, on the next technique guide, we'll be talking about one of the most emotional Vegeta
moments. I thought it was called the final attunement or something like that, but you know.
Leading to his technique known as the final explosion, which he used against Majin Buu.
Atonement or some ish like that.
And later Topo in the series. But that's the next technique guide. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it and check these videos out as well.
Golly, well that was Geekdom. Glad that I kind of learned more about the Final Flash, but like, yo, I'm still upset that they didn't show the Gamma Burst or the Gamma something like that in the Black Arc, cause yo, that shit, if that's how powerful it was, why didn't they just add it in? But then again, there was so much going on, animation time, the schedule, the whole animation team. You could even see that there were a few mistakes here and there in the Black Arc, but man, at least we got it out, and then we got the Tournament of Power, which was still fire at the end. And yeah, overall, my favorite move is Big Bang Attack, Final Flash, and then Gallic Gun. Yeah. I wouldn't really count Final Explosion, but if I were to add it in, I'd just say it goes third place because you rarely see it, and it's just like one of those last minute moment things because it's like all or nothing. I'm giving everything I got. But golly, man, that was Geekdom for you and ish, bro. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. See y'all later.